Hello and welcome to the Semantic Enterprise Vault 11 What's New module for the Enterprise Vault search feature. After completing this module, you will be able to describe the requirements for Enterprise Vault Search, EVS, and Enterprise Vault Search basic functions. Use Enterprise Vault Search to perform a search, outline the steps to implement and support Enterprise Vault Search, list the supported platforms and components of Enterprise Vault Search, describe steps to troubleshoot Enterprise Vault Search issues. This is the Enterprise Vault Search overview topic. After completing this topic, you will be able to describe the requirements for Enterprise Vault Search EVS and Enterprise Vault Search basic functions. There were several compelling reasons to invest in a new Enterprise Vault Search tool, including Enterprise Vault's web search voted as top 3 items to address. Replacing Enterprise Vault's web search interfaces has been among the top 3 items to address globally by customers that have attended Symantec's strategic customer board meetings. Search is a key competitive focus. EMC, Microsoft, and Autonomy are investing in providing users with rich information retrieval tools to enhance user productivity. Enterprise Vault search interfaces were disjointed and for specific needs. Retiring existing multiple search interfaces allows engineering to focus on a single interface. Users want a feature-rich, easy-to-use interface. Users require access to information created, received, or filed during their day-to-day work. In many cases, users cannot remember the exact location in the original content source, so they require other options to locate the information. On average, a user searches for items up to 25 times a day stored in any content source Enterprise Vault manages. Enterprise Vault Search is a single interface for searching all archives in the environment. It allows a user to search emails, files from the file system, SharePoint archives, Domino archives, as well as custom and shared archives. Apart from providing search and archive navigation capabilities, Enterprise Vault Search also offers features to improve the user experience, including support of Windows and Mac OSs, support for current browsers, favorite folders, save searches, and the ability to perform actions on items and view attachments within the browser. The new Enterprise Vault Search application replaces Enterprise Vault's existing user search applications, Archive Explorer, Integrated Search, and Browser Search interfaces. The new Enterprise Vault Search consolidates existing searches to a single user interface. In earlier Enterprise Vault versions, there were multiple search options, such as Browser Search and Archive Explorer. With the new Enterprise Vault Search, all of these are integrated into a single search interface. Has a new user-friendly interface with new features. The new and improved user interface provides better navigation and is more intuitive. It also provides new features and compatibility with more browsers. Downloads to PST and NSF. Apart from the native MSG, PDF, etc., this is new functionality added to the Enterprise Vault Search. Searches across multiple archives and folders. Enterprise Vault Search enables users to search across multiple archives and folders from a single user interface. This is the Using Enterprise Vault Search topic that shows how users use Enterprise Vault Search to perform searches. With Enterprise Vault Search, users now have the ability to perform quick searches for novices or power users, virtual scroll through hundreds of thousands of results or folders, view an HTML view of files or attachments, quick access to favorite folders and saved searches, perform search in more than one archive, restore or delete multiple items, highlight search hits. On the client side, the following must be enabled: cookies and JavaScript on the client browser. If your Enterprise Vault server is performing the mailbox archiving, then the Enterprise Vault server name is automatically added to the local intranet zone. Enterprise Vault Search uses Windows authentication, except for Domino, so user must enter Windows credentials for each new browser session and Enterprise Vault Search. To avoid this login, users can add the Enterprise Vault server, where Enterprise Vault Search is hosted, in the Trusted Zone local intranet zone. The following prerequisites must be installed before installing the Enterprise Vault Search: Windows Communication Foundation HTTP activation, the net.tcp listener adapter service. Some issues may prevent Enterprise Vault Search from installing. If issues arise, visit the Microsoft website to obtain a workaround. Let's walk through the different UI sections. Sidebar lists the archives the user can access. Favorites saves frequently used queries and reruns them quickly from the Favorites section. Archive Group. Enterprise Vault Search has a set of predefined archive groups such as Email, File, and SharePoint. The options in this pane let the user create their own archive groups and organize the archives in them. Users can also rearrange the archive groups in the sidebar and choose to hide or show selected groups. Search pane is where search criteria is entered. Results pane lists the contents of a folder or the results of a search, while the Reading pane shows the contents of a specific item, including links to any attachments. Advanced Simple Search, from here toggle between the Advanced and Simple Search views. Actions allows the users to personalize Enterprise Vault Search and open help topics. And Quick Links provides access links to documentation and videos about Enterprise Vault Search and how to use it. Simple Search accepts word or phrase searches just like previous Enterprise Vault Search applications. Enterprise Vault Search introduces the ability to be more specific by using a query language. Simple Search, adding a word to the search criteria, looks for any matches in any field or content including attachments of messages. Adding multiple words looks for items with both words. Phrase Search, use double quotes, for example, hiring process, so that the search results match the exact phrase within the quotes. Specific Search. Enterprise Vault Search introduces the ability to be more specific by using a query syntax. Query syntax. Use search query syntax in a simple search to narrow search results. The search query syntax lets a user specify searches for a sender, recipient, date, attachment, and so on. Narrow a search using additional search options with Advanced Search. Define the scope of the search. Search using multiple criteria, including definable custom fields. The search options vary with the type of archive or folder searched. Use the extensive set of properties and operators to build complex queries easily. Add or remove rows to narrow searches. In Advanced Search, choose to search all content or narrow the search to parent items. And finally, make future searches easier by saving searches. This is the Enterprise Vault Search Overview demonstration. In this demonstration, you explore the new features introduced in the Enterprise Vault Search interface. Open the search interface by browsing to the URL. In the sidebar, you see the default archive groups: Email for Exchange and Domino archives, File System archives, and SharePoint archives. A new custom group can also be created for frequently accessed important archives. And then finally, Favorites, for saved searches and frequently used archives or folders. Let's access a user's email archive. The interface lets you browse the archive items, very similar to the Archive Explore functionality. With Enterprise Vault Search, you can preview the message body and attachment content. Select an archived mail item and preview. This is the search pane. You can search for items using query syntax, wildcards, and Boolean operators. Enter your search criteria and then click the Search button. This is a simple search. The Results pane shows the search results and highlights the search terms. Let's run another simple search using the search query syntax to narrow the search results. The search query syntax lets you specify searches for a sender, recipient, date, attachment, and so on. Click Reset to return to the default search. Now let's switch to Advanced Search. You can add multiple search criteria, which narrows the search results, since all fields must match to show the results. Click the drop-down list to see the advanced search options. The search options vary with the type of archive or folder that you search. Now use the search criteria to find items with email attachments from user Anita. Run the search and view the results. You can choose to customize the columns within the results pane. You can specify various options to customize the order, title, and other properties of columns in the results pane. The Quick Links pane provides useful documentation and videos to help get started with Enterprise Vault Search. The Enterprise Vault Search window can also be accessed from Microsoft Outlook clients. In Outlook, access the search page using the Enterprise Vault Outlook add-ins. You can include more than one archive or folders to perform searches by choosing the Search pane drop-down menu. By default, only a single archive or folder is selected for search. Run a simple search and see the results showing the highlighted text. This concludes the Enterprise Vault Search Overview demonstration. In this demonstration, we look at how to personalize the Enterprise Vault search window. The Enterprise Vault search interface can be personalized using the Preferences window. In the Preferences window, you can choose to show or hide the sidebar. Now select Archive Groups. The default archive groups are Email, File System, and SharePoint. You can create new custom archive groups for frequently accessed archives. You can choose to position the reading pane at the bottom or right-hand corner of the window, or turn it off. In hit highlighting, you can choose to set the highlight color for search terms. From here, you can also enable or disable the results pane or reading pane. You can choose to show custom fields that can be used as search criteria in advanced search. And then finally, in Exchange account settings, verify and/or modify the mailbox account for copy or move operations. Note that in a Domino environment, the mailbox account settings are similar, but they cannot be modified. This concludes this demonstration. In this demonstration, we look at how Enterprise Vault performs a simple search in more than one archive. In the search box of the Enterprise Vault search interface, click the down arrow and launch the Select Archive or Folder dialog box. Enterprise Vault performs a search in a single archive by default. Enter search criteria in the search box and run the search. The results pane displays the items with the search terms highlighted. Now let's run a search in more than one archive. Click the down arrow and open the Select Archive or Folder dialog box. Select another user's archive for search. Here we are performing a search of two different archives with the same archive group, Email. In the search box, enter the search criteria and then run the search. The results pane displays the mail archive items and also lists the archives folder where the item was found. Once again, open the Select Archive or Folder dialog box. Select a file system archive from the File System Archive group. Run the search with the same search criteria and view the results. The results pane displays the mail items identified earlier. The search also displays other items from the file system archive that match the search criteria. Use the Show option to filter the search results and display items of a specific type. This concludes the demonstration. In the Administering Enterprise Vault Search topic, you learn how to implement and support Enterprise Vault Search. Let's see how these new components help to configure Enterprise Vault Search. Under Client Access Search, a new Provisioning Groups option is available. Under Policies, there is a new Search policy, and under Tasks, there is a new Client Access Provisioning task. Here are the different scenarios on how an end user will get the different search sites. With Enterprise Vault 10, the users have access only to the legacy search sites, Browser, Integrated, and Archive Explorer. With a fresh install of Enterprise Vault 11, users get access to the new Enterprise Vault Search. With an upgrade of Enterprise Vault 11, the users continue to have access to legacy search sites by default. Only when you create a new provisioning group does the search site get upgraded to the new Enterprise Vault Search. First, upgrade Enterprise Vault Server to Enterprise Vault 11. Then, upgrade an Enterprise Vault site to Enterprise Vault Search. This will allow all users to benefit from Enterprise Vault Search without having to create provisioning groups. To upgrade an Enterprise Vault site, select Site Properties. On the Search tab, you click Upgrade Search. All Enterprise Vault clients will be redirected to use Enterprise Vault Search. The upgrade process removes the desktop policy settings for the legacy search applications from the product. It is possible to phase out this migration process by creating provisioning groups. This is explained later in the presentation and demonstration. A search policy defines the range of Enterprise Vault search facilities to make available to users. Enterprise Vault Search Policy allows administrators to define reading pane on-off settings, export items to different file types such as NSF, zip, PST, etc., delete archived items, copy and move archived items. This is possible only if the content source supports restore operations. This is the Enterprise Vault Search Policy demonstration. In this demonstration, we look at how to create a new Enterprise Search Policy to allow user access to the new search interface. In the Administration Console, a new search policy has been introduced to support the web search interface. Let's create a new search policy for the Sales group. This policy will be referenced in a provisioning group and provide the users access to the new search interface. Enter a name and description for the search policy. On the Search Policy Settings page, you can select the user's access to the Enterprise Vault search functions and behavior. Configure options for reading pane, for exporting content to the supported formats, and finally for other operations like copy, delete, or move items. For this demonstration, the search policy for the Sales group has been configured with default settings. Now create another search policy for the head of department of the various business units. Give it an appropriate name. Set the policy settings to provide department heads access to other special operations. We now have two search policies with different settings, which can be referenced in provisioning groups. This concludes the demonstration. A search provisioning group identifies the users and user groups to assign a search policy for Enterprise Vault Search. Typically, set up custom provisioning groups in either of the following cases. To make Enterprise Vault Search available to selected users or groups in an Enterprise Vault site that you have yet to upgrade to use Enterprise Vault Search. Or, if Enterprise Vault Search is enabled in the site, to assign a custom search policy to selected users or groups. This is the Enterprise Vault Search Provisioning Groups demonstration. In the Vault Administration console beneath the Enterprise Vault site, access the new Client Access node. Expand Client Access to see the new Search Provisioning group. New provisioning groups allow Enterprise Vault Search settings to be applied to individual users or groups of users. Let's start by creating an Active Directory-based provisioning group that targets the sales group users. Enter an appropriate name for the provisioning group. Associate a search policy to the new provisioning group. The search policy allows or prevents access to various features of the Enterprise Vault Search interface. Select an appropriate search policy from the list. Select the correct domain from the list. Click Add to provision a range of target users. Similar to the Exchange provisioning task, many options are presented for targeting users. Add the Sales user group to be associated with the provisioning group. You can choose to add other trusted Active Directory domains and enable its users for client access. If the domain is not listed, you can explicitly add the trusted domain in NetBIOS format. In this demonstration, there is a single domain, example.com. A new client access provisioning task is created on the selected Enterprise Vault server. Note, the new provisioning task provides targeted users access to the Enterprise Vault Search interface. Let's add another Active Directory-based provisioning group to target the head of department for all business units. Select the appropriate search policy for the department heads group. Users in this group are provided complete access to the search interface, as against users from the sales group. Add the group department heads as the target group, and then complete the wizard. It is possible to change the order or ranking of the provisioning groups, similar to the Exchange provisioning group ranking. In this example, the head of the sales department will use the settings from the department head's provisioning group. Let's go ahead and look at the Enterprise Vault tasks. Notice that there are two provisioning tasks: Exchange provisioning task for assigning desktop policy and mail archiving settings to mailboxes, and Client Access provisioning task for Enterprise Vault search settings. Start the Client Access provisioning task. By default, this task runs at scheduled intervals. This concludes the demonstration. Enterprise Vault Search organizes the available archives into groups. By default, a predefined set of archive groups is automatically created based on their content type, including email, file, and SharePoint. Use Archive Group Configuration to create archive groups and organize the archives in them. Users can also rearrange the archive groups in the sidebar and choose to hide or show selected groups. Custom archive groups make it easier for users to access their most frequently accessed archives. Archives assigned to a custom archive group are only copied from the predefined archive groups. These archives continue to exist as part of the predefined group. This is the Custom Archive Groups demonstration. In the Enterprise Vault search window, it is possible to organize frequently accessed archives by creating custom archive groups. In this demonstration, we look at how to create a new custom archive group and associate archives to the new group. In the Enterprise Vault search window, open the Preferences dialog box and click Archive Groups. Email, File System, and SharePoint are the default archive groups. Click Add to create a new custom archive group. Give the archive group a name. Currently, no archives are associated with the group. Now associate an email archive and file system archive to the new custom archive group. Select the new archive group to view the associate archive types. Once the group is created, you can rename the archive group, remove the archive group, change the order of the archive groups. In the new archive group, you can choose to remove archives from the group and change the order of the archives in the group. Note that these options are not available for the default archive groups. It is now possible to access the more important archives more easily via the new archive group in the Enterprise Vault search window. This concludes this demonstration. This is the Enterprise Vault Search architecture topic. Enterprise Vault Search is supported on the following operating systems: for Windows, Windows XP, Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8 for GTM, Mac OS X, 10.5.x Leopard, 10.6.x Snow Leopard, and 10.7.x Lion for GTM. The minimum supported browsers for Enterprise Vault Search are Internet Explorer 8, 9, and 10, Chrome 30 and 31, Firefox 24 and 25, and on Mac, Safari 6 and 7. Check the compatibility charts for the latest information on supported browsers and platforms. This is the Enterprise Vault Search architecture. The user opens Enterprise Vault Search on a browser and performs some operations, such as searching an archive. An HTTP AJAX request goes from the client browser to the Enterprise Vault Search application on the IIS server. Enterprise Vault Search converts the user search query to the proper format and makes a WCF web service call to the SOAP API. The SOAP API returns the results to Enterprise Vault Search. Enterprise Vault Search converts the result to the proper format and returns the result to the client browser. The client browser receives the search result data using HTTP AJAX and renders it on the UI using client-side JavaScript. The same process applies to Domino, except another authentication is required. This slide outlines the workflow for the Enterprise Vault Search process. This slide outlines the workflow for the Enterprise Vault Search process for Domino. A user opens Enterprise Vault Search Domino on a browser and performs some operation, such as navigating the archives the user has access to. An HTTP AJAX request goes from the client browser to the Enterprise Vault Search application on the IIS server. Enterprise Vault Search application on the IIS server fetches the Domino gateway server details from the database. Domino SSO is used to authenticate the user, and an LTPA token is presented to the Enterprise Vault Search application on the IIS server to determine what archives the user has access to. After successful authentication, Enterprise Vault Search makes a call to the Directory Connection API. The Directory Connection API returns the archives to Enterprise Vault Search. Enterprise Vault Search converts the archives list to proper format and returns the result to the client browser. The client browser receives the archive list using HTTP AJAX and renders it on the UI using client-side JavaScript. This topic describes steps to troubleshoot Enterprise Vault Search issues. The following tools can be used to debug Enterprise Vault Search: log files, event viewer, DTrace, additional web tools, Fiddler, live HTTP headers, SOAP UI. Enterprise Vault Search supports log file creation at specific locations, with the level and location determined by the Enterprise Vault Search configuration file. The default location is listed on the slide, and the default logging level is information. This web.config has configuration parameters to generate Enterprise Vault Search log files. The log levels can be set to no logging, error only, warning, information, or verbose. Enterprise Vault Search creates its own entries in the event viewer under Applications and Service Logs, Semantic Enterprise Vault, with a task category of Enterprise Vault Search. As a web application, you can troubleshoot Enterprise Vault Search by enabling verbose logging through DTrace for the W3WP process. An example is shown on the slide. Fiddler is a freeware web debugging proxy which logs all HTTP/HTTPS traffic between a computer and the Internet. Fiddler allows you to inspect traffic, set breakpoints, fiddle with incoming or outgoing data. Fiddler includes a powerful event-based scripting subsystem and can be extended using any .NET language. Use Fiddler to monitor traffic between clients and the Enterprise Vault server. Live HTTP Headers is an add-on to the Mozilla Firefox Tools menu. It opens a new tab split into 4 subtabs. Headers. Information displayed includes host, server, cookie. Generator displays, redirects, images, CSS. Config and About. Information can be saved to text files. SoapUI is an open-source functional testing tool, mainly used for web service testing. SoapUI is Java-based and supports multiple protocols such as SOAP, HTTP, JDBC. SoapUI enables creating advanced performance tests quickly and running automated functional tests. In this module, you learn the requirements for Enterprise Vault Search, EVS, and Enterprise Vault Search basic functions. You also learned the supported platforms and components of Enterprise Vault Search. In addition, you learned how to use Enterprise Vault Search to perform a search and outlined the steps to implement and support Enterprise Vault Search. Finally, you learned basic Enterprise Vault Search troubleshooting steps.